Amy with AJ's Vintage Designs and Fashion Toppings here on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a driftwood look on this raw farmhouse table, and I'll be using Dixie Belle's Voodoo Gel Stain. I'm using Up and Smoke, White Magic, and Tobacco Road. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now this table I have sanded down, started with an 80 grit sandpaper, moved my way up to a 120. 120 was my final grit sandpaper I used, so I have a nice smooth finish. I'm going to be using a misting bottle of water and a chip brush to apply my gel stains. So I first want to get my base coat on, and my base coat is going to be the brown, which is the Tobacco Road. So I'm going to be applying that over the entire table, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, for applying my first coat, like I said, I'll be using the Tobacco Road. You need to shake this product up really well. You wanna make sure you get all those pigments off the bottom of the bottle, mixed in with the water. So shake it up really well, and put a little on a dish. This wood is really dry, and I don't want to use a wood conditioner on it. So what I want to do is, while I'm applying my gel stain, I'm going to be spritzing it with water as I go, because I want the water to be the first thing that my raw wood absorbs. That way when I put in the gel stain over it, which Voodoo Gel Stain is water based, that's why I'm able to use the water. So I'm going to do this area right here where you can see. I'm going to just mist it with a little bit of water. Not getting it really wet, I'm just misting it with a slight mist of water. Taking my chip brush, I'm just going to apply the gel stain. Right over where I just misted with water. And I can mist it again if it's going on kind of dry. And then I'm taking a rag, a clean rag, and I am gonna work it into the fibers of the wood. So I'm gonna mist my area. The next area I'm gonna be doing, just getting a little bit of water on there. Like I said, the water helps the gel stain slide across the top of the surface, because this wood is very thirsty. Okay, and I take my clean cloth and then rub it in and wipe it back. As easy as that. Now I'm going to be doing layers because I want the farmhouse gray driftwood look. So I'm just getting this base color on. Not worried about complete coverage, because like I said, we're gonna be doing the white and the gray on here as well. So let's go ahead and keep going and apply it to the rest of the areas. Okay, so now this is dried, and it's time to apply our layers of color. Now I'm gonna be adding Dixie Belle's Voodoo Gel Stain, the water-based gel stain in white, their White Magic, and their gray, which is their Up and Smoke. I have separate chip brushes for both. You can use the same chip brush, it doesn't matter, because we're gonna be layering, so it doesn't matter if the colors get put together. I'm gonna start off by doing some of the gray, and I'm just doing drag marks. Now there's no right or wrong way to do this, because I'm going to take a rag and soften these drag marks, because we're just doing this in layers. I want to give this a beachy look, so I'll do a couple rows, take my lint-free cloth, just kind of rub it in, kind of blurs out that dry brush look just a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna keep going. Just adding the gray. You can go as heavy as you want. There is no wrong way to do this. This is gonna be layered. I'll be putting white over top of this. I'm gonna be doing a wash of the white voodoo stain on top of this. So these are just the colors that are gonna show through my next step. So you can go as heavy or as light as you want, depending on how much of the wood, the brown, which is the Tobacco Road stain, how much of that you want to show through, and rubbing it in. If you happen to get an area that you went too dark and you didn't want to go that dark, you can spray it with a little water. See, I just mixed it with a little bit of water because this is water-based, and you can lighten it up. So if you do get an area that you got too dark, or you want it to be blended a little bit more, less streaky, then you can add just a little bit of water and blend it out. The white, now the same process, and I'm gonna drag that over top of it. See how much of a difference the white makes? And then I'm gonna wipe it back. Got a new rag. Need to fold it up better, okay. And like I said, if you don't like the streaks, I like the streaks because it gives that grain look, and we're gonna be doing more and more layers of it. But if you don't like the streaks, you can blend it a little bit by adding some water. Water helps it move. See how it moves more when you got the water on it? So you can add a little bit of water. Okay, I'm gonna get this a little wet. I want it to move a little bit more. See, this is the coloring that I want right here. So I'm just adding some water to thin it out a little bit. As I wipe, that water is forcing that stain down into the fibers of the wood. So it's giving us better coverage. That's exactly what I'm looking for right here, this area right here. Water's your friend because this stain is water-based. So it makes it so much more user-friendly. You're able to adjust your look by adding some water, get it into those fibers of the wood, those grains, and lightening the color if you need to. Okay, and I'm gonna keep going with this. You can see the big difference between just the gray and now that I've added the white. Okay. Okay, so you can see right here, see how you can see the beautiful grains in the wood? The white just barely picks it up. See that? It gives that barnwood look. And then right next to it, that's where I use a lot of water and really blended out those colors and allow those grains to soak in the stain. So that is using more water. This is using very little water right here. So if I add a little bit more voodoo gel stain and some water, that'll fill that in. But if you like that grain look, then you use less water. Now on these areas where I stopped, I haven't done this yet, but I have done this. See this little jagged line here? That's where my water is gonna come into play also. I'm going to spritz along these lines so you can't tell where I started and where I stopped. You can't see this jagged line. So I'm gonna mist it with some water. I'm gonna go right along that line. Go back with my gray, because I haven't done my gray up here that much. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna go back with my white, kind of overlapping what I've already done. And I'm gonna get rid of these little transition lines right here. Do a small section. Make sure I got my white in there, over that transition area. Okay, and then I'm gonna spritz it with my water again, right along that transition line. Take my rag, and I'm going to wipe away that area where you can see my start and stop marks. You don't want to let that dry. You want to make sure that you keep going with the process and spritz it with the water to join the area that we've done and the area we hadn't done yet. Join them together so you don't have a start and stop mark. Always going with the grain. Never going against, I'm never going this way. I'm always going with the grain. Just like you would when you're doing a normal staining. Okay? And there, I wiped out that transition line. Okay, so as you can see, we have a beautiful finish. I can stop right here and be done and have a gorgeous finish. Now, just to recap, I do have the entire table. With the first was the brown, which is the Tobacco Road Voodoo Gel Stain. Let that dry. Then I came back and did streaks of the white, which is the White Magic, and then the gray, which is the Up and Smoke. Applied it and then wiped it back as I went to kind of blend it together. Like I said, I can be done right here and I can seal it. I can seal this with hemp oil. I can seal it with any of the clear coats or even gator hide. But if I want to go even lighter and get more of a beachy look, I want to do a whitewash over it. I can still see all these colors through, but I'm going to do a real slight whitewash over it. And I'm going to do that by using the White Magic, shaking it up really well, pouring a little bit of it into a bowl. I'm gonna do about a 50-50 mix of that with water. And you can decide how light. See, I got just a little bit in there. I'm gonna pour some water. I like using filtered water or bottled water. I do live in the country, so I have well water, so I don't want any of those minerals in there that could cause any discoloration. So I got that in there. Gonna mix that up. Okay, I'm just gonna stir it, making sure all my white pigments are mixed in with that water. The more water you put, the lighter the wash will be. But since the Voodoo gel stain is water-based, you can turn it into a wash. You can even skip all the streaking steps if you want to, and you just want to do a wash over the brown or the solid color stain that you choose. You can do that as well. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna be using the Dixie Belle applicator pad to apply it. You can use any lint-free rag. You're gonna dip it in the wash. Start from one end and go all the way to the other. And just apply it. And spread it out. So you can really see a difference between this section and that section. It's a subtle difference, but it just gives it that white tone, so it looks more beachy, more like barnwood. And you hardly have to re-dip when you use this applicator pad because it soaks up so much. Long streaks from one end to the other. When you're applying your stain, you do the same way. I did just the top half of the table so you could see it, and then went back and did the other half. Okay, and you wipe back however much you need. Just a very subtle way to finish it up, but it gives it a beautiful look by taking this extra step. I'm just wiping so I don't have any streaks. If my pad is too wet, I'll flip it over to the dry side and wipe it some more. I got too much on there. Okay, so as you can see, a beautiful finish, and it's so easy. Now with the Voodoo gel stains, since they're water-based, they're so flexible to use. You saw me use it as a wash. You saw me apply it with water to thin it out when I'm spraying and wiping it back, so I have a lot of control over it. So if you're looking at wanting to do this beachy look, this is an easy way to do it. Now remember, like if you're using the no pain gel stains from Dixie Belle, those are oil-based, you can't add water to them, so they're not, you can't do this technique by using all the water with the no paint gel stains. This is only for the Voodoo gel stains. They leave a gorgeous wash. I took this plain sanded table and gave it a real country feel, quick and easy, and that's all there is to it. Well, this is Amy with AJ's Vintage Designs and Fashion Toppings. Until next time, I hope you have a great day.